Hey, 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 it's Dominic D'Angelo of Rumor and Innuendo, and it is Monday after SummerSlam. Summer is officially here now that SummerSlam has occurred, and I'm happy to be here with Mr. Robert Karplis, WWE Creative _ish on X. Robert, do you feel the summer heat? Dog day afternoon, Attica, huh?
Man, I don't have the patience for you today. Look, I'm dressed in black. We all know what happened last evening at SummerSlam. Folks, the dog days of summer are here, and the end of days may in fact be here due to some of the booking decisions. And myself and Scott Chaplin this morning sat down and had an in-depth conversation about both nights of SummerSlam. Which is up on the Working Stiff Patreon page now. That's where you're going to get the reaction that you want to get from me, based specifically on one match and one match in particular that involves a lot of words that I am not able to say here on YouTube, that I am not allowed to say for the sensitive ears of those folks who may be watching us at a more family-friendly vehicle. All I am going to say is there was one match last evening that the decision, if they were to do that to me in the gluteal region, would require Blue Chew. Guys, this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. What do women want and need? It ain't Baron Corbin. They want stability. They want reliability. You can be her rock with Blue Chew. With Blue Chew, you're not just having sex anymore. You're putting on a show. Unlike a Baron Corbin title reign, she's going to be left feeling satisfied and not limp, confused, huddled in a corner, sobbing, questioning the existence of God. And guys, we have a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the third for free with promo code RUMOR. That's promo code RUMOR. You'll also receive an additional 10% off plus free overnight shipping on your first order. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of They Put the United States title on Baron Corbin. They looked at the roster. They looked at the list of people that they released over the last 90 days, not the release you get with our friends over at Blue Chew, promo code RUMOR. And they said, you know who we need to put in a stadium full of people? Let's be generous and say 2/3 full is full. They went, yeah, we need Baron Corbin. We need this guy who was so terrible that we gave him gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick after gimmick. And the only one that was successful was when they made him a complete and total loser, to such a degree that it was funny that he had a mustard stain on his shirt. And that was the best character development you got out of him in a decade. And then last evening, Michael Cole, you couldn't understand what he was saying because clearly Hunter took a Blue Chew and then took the results of that Blue Chew and placed it between Michael Cole's lips. And that was what we got for the entirety of that Baron Corbin match. Did you know? Not only is he the best wrestler of all time, he is some sort of ninja martial artist that #2 in the world. He has won 20 gold medals in doing all this. He's retired Kurt Angle. He's a former king of the ring. He is the single greatest talent in the history of pro. Let's say hi to the folks joining us in the chat, Dom. Big Boss 1983 says SummerSlam summer stunk. Really? Why is that? Oh, I know, because they put the furry title on Baron Corbin. E says, what's up? You know what's up, Big E over there? Baron Corbin won. Wrestling Old Head says, good after morning, R&I. In some alternate timeline, SummerSlam was a one-night, 8-match card spectacular that was sold out with 70,000 people in attendance. But if he had to drop one of the matches from this weekend at SummerSlam, I really hope it wasn't the United States Championship match, which should have been Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, in what would have been a tremendous match with a deep, rich backstory. But fear not, guys. Paris Wrestling says, guys, question, do you think Chad Gable is the only man to bring back the 60-minute Iron Man match or the return of the Ultimate Submission match last seen in 2001? You know who did a great Iron Man match and a great Ultimate Submission match was Kurt Angle. But you know who retired Kurt Angle? Baron Corbin. Kevin Starr says, after mourning all, is there really, we are all in mourning because Baron Corbin. Willie Thornbrew says, congratulations, Mrs. Cardona. You know why he's congratulating her? Because she got to get her picture taken with her new title. You know who also has a new title? Baron Corbin. Wanna Breeze says, hello, RNI. Nice way to kick off my vacation than RNI live. Your vacation would have been better if you were at the island where Jaws took place and Jaws ate you, rather than having to have watched Baron Corbin win the United States title. Hey Dom, did you watch SummerSlam this weekend? Any thoughts on that show?
Well, I'll be forthright. I only caught the highlight matches, so it wasn't Baron Corbin. I caught Cody versus Punk. I caught Punk versus not Punk, Seth versus Roman, and then I caught the end of Brock and Oberfell. So,
what the hell were you doing this weekend?
I was a busy man. I had a lot of stuff to do.
I found time to go see the Spider-Man.
I saw that.
Saw the Spider-Man in the theaters. My son wanted to go see the Minions and the Monsters. We saw Minions and Monsters. My first Minion movie.
Oh, they're not very good from what I hear.
No, they're not. This one, though, the weirdest thing about this film.
Did Baron Corbin defeat them, the Minions?
How dare you ever think that I would subject my child to anything involving that? Trey Parker plays one of the little aliens in the movie, but absolutely kind of sounds like Cartman.
Oh, boy.
Super bizarre. Wrestling Old Head asked the Spider-Man question. I'm not going to put it up on the screen because I don't want to spoil the film for anybody who hasn't seen Spider-Man. Once people have had the opportunity to watch it, more than happy to engage. Myself and Mike Lawrence had like a 75 message text back and forth on it. I guess, like I said, Scott and I did an in-depth on SummerSlam, but we are going to talk it here with the guy who didn't watch 90% of SummerSlam because he was busy being out and about on the biggest wrestling weekend outside of WrestleMania of the year. We'll go rapid fire for this show, Gom, because there are 12 matches and 45 commercial breaks.
Yeah, let's dive in, Robert. Let's dive in indeed. Kicked off with Io Sky taking on Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan retains. So good move.
No. Here's the thing. On paper, this SummerSlam overall felt like they had a checklist of things they needed to accomplish and wanted to be able to say, we did blank. This was one of the matches I was the most confused about. Io Sky, and I've said this elsewhere, so I'm just kind of reiterating, she's like Daniel Bryan in the sense that you can put her in there with just about anybody, and she's going to produce a great match that makes you feel like you're seeing something elevated. This match struggled in a lot of ways because I genuinely don't think either Liv is not 100%, or since she's been back, she hasn't gotten the kind of reps that she needs. So this was a lot of Io doing the heavy lifting, and then Liv turns around and beats her. Yes, you had Roxanne and Raquel out there. I don't think they interfered enough for it to be like, boy, Io really got robbed. And now you wonder, where do they go from here? My thought would be Bayley. If Bayley is sticking around, hey, we're going to get a Bayley, story, or if Bayley's leaving, a title versus career match and get one last thing out of Bayley, and maybe Lyra costs Bayley her career.
Interesting. What about Sol Ruka getting put in that place?
We'll get to Sol Ruka later.
Okay. Hey, we had this is another match I caught a little bit of too. Actually, was LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys. They defeated the Bloodline. That's Jacob Fatu, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso. This is about 11 minutes, Robert, on the dot. I like the decision of this match actually. So, but what did you think here, Robert?
Was super confused. I could not tell who the babyface was, who the heel was outside of Solo. I think Solo shined. I think he was every bit as entertaining as we've always sort of flagged him. I had done a podcast on Working Stiff on Patreon, Something Sports Entertainment with, where I talked about just several months ago, like the future stars of the WWE. And Solo was one of the 8 people where I'm like, if I needed to start from right now, the 8 new guys, he was one of those 8. And I justified it in, he's got a great look. He's very competent in the ring. And I say that not to damn him, but you're not getting a 7-star Will Ospreay match out of him. But you're going to get a great match. He's going to be consistent in the ring. He's been able to deliver in there with the likes of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins before. He's a good heel. He's a very entertaining babyface. He's a smarmy babyface. Like, there's a lot to like about Solo.
Yeah.
The decision to beat the Bloodline and weaken them was really surprising because it felt like, and Wrestling On had hit on what I had said, was the rumor and Innuendo suggested that Solo was slated to turn. They changed it after he started receiving good responses. That was what made the most sense, is let's go all in on the Bloodline are this heel faction that needs to be stopped. And the baby faces couldn't get a line because Solo was secretly working for them the whole time. And Roman doesn't fail until he ultimately fails. So having these little battles lost weakens Roman more than anything else. The fact that LA Knight got the pin, the other thing I've been sort of saying, suggesting, hypothesizing is LA Knight is a good cannon fodder opponent for Roman Reigns. And to stick within the Marvel world, that notion of when Loki fails to beat the Avengers and Thanos just goes, all right, I'll just do it myself, and puts the gauntlet on. That's kind of what this feels like. All right, Jay, you couldn't get the job done. I'm going to have to go in there and go shut this guy up because LA Knight's been saying, I'm the guy who deserves to be champion. I'm the guy who deserves to be the main eventer, and I'm the guy Roman Reigns can't be. I'm not going to allow that, and I'm going to go smash his face in.
Yeah, I like the direction it's taking because it does show some fracturing with the Bloodline, and I'm more for that whole storyline just getting the F over with. So I like that, and I like that, you did have that buddy kind of ending with LA Knight and Solo Sikoa because it further perpetuates Solo as a growing baby face here. So I do like that aspect of it all too. So I think that was a good result in my opinion. Okay, we had Gunther defeated Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis came out to Oasis, pretty surprising. I thought Nick Aldis looked great in this match. I thought the finish made sense. A feel-good moment in a lot of ways. But what did you think here, Robert?
Definitely feel good. Definitely had that Make-A-Wish vibe of they're going to spend the money on the Oasis theme. They're going to put his family ringside. You had Mickey James and the kids. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, well, Aldis looked good. Did you know that Nick Aldis is one of the youngest people on this show?
It's crazy, right? He is. True.
Nick Aldis is 39 years old, which means he's younger than Jey Uso. He's younger than Jimmy Uso. He's younger than LA Knight. He's younger than Chad Gable. He's younger than Penta. He's younger than Cody. He's younger than Roman. He's younger than Seth. He's younger than Punk.
That's a lot.
Part of it is because he's British, and people automatically assume British people are always going to be older.
Yeah.
Gunther's only 1 year younger than Nick Aldis.
That's just crazy. Mm-hmm.
Gunther did something that I think is kind of problematic in the sense that he has shown he can wrestle anybody. By the way, younger than Kevin Owens, younger than Sami Zayn, younger than Finn Balor. He has shown that you can put Gunther in there with literally anybody, and he is going to give you not just a good match, he's going to give you a great match. And we saw that with him and Pat McAfee, where it really ruins the illusion because it's like Gunther is just so friggin' talented that you put him in there with anybody, and he's going to make it feel like it's an epic war. You could put him in there with your degenerate brother, Marcus D'Angelo, and it's going to seem like Marcus almost knows what he's doing. But we all remember when Obafemi demolished Marcus D'Angelo.
He was just security that night, Robert.
He was just security. He still got demolished. Brock Lesnar, older than Nick Aldis. It was nice for him to have that moment. I'm glad he got it, but I'm good with Aldis can now retire, and I think everyone's going to be happy.
Do you think that's what they're going to do with him, or do you think?
I think based on what we saw the next night, I don't think you need Nick Aldis to necessarily wrestle again, unless the idea is he can go have one win against Sammy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was happy for him. I thought it was a fun thing, but to your point, like Gunther is almost, could you compare him to like a Nick Nemeth? Like he's so good that he does a lot of the, and WWE just relied on him to get other people over.
He's not quite Nemeth where he's selling really well, but he is one of those guys that you can, it's, you know what it is? It's the Undertaker. You would put, Undertaker would get saddled with King Kong Bundy or Giant Gonzalez or the Executioner or Nathan Jones, because like, well, you can handle yourself. We know that you'll be fine. So they can go put Gunther in there with a guy who can't work or is incredibly boring to wrestle or who may be bald or who may have a furry belt around his waist. Not that I'm thinking of anybody in particular, because I would never wish that upon Gunther. We all like Gunty.
Very much so. Big fans of Gunty. Also, were you a big fan of this match? Fatal Influence against the Bella Twins?
You know, when Scott Chaplin had first texted about SummerSlam and he talked about how much he hated this show, and I was like, it's not that bad. And then I started going through it and I went, oh my. So to be clear, we had thought that the Bellas and Paige were going to win so that Fatal Influence can have gotten their comeuppance, but they still get to keep their tag titles and we move on. JC Jane dressing like Shawn Michaels in 1995 is just absolutely remarkable. She's the best. Really dig her quite a bit. The Bellas and Paige lose, and then the Bellas immediately turn on Paige. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like, because so rather than helping Fatal Influence, like Fatal Influence win, they've beaten the Legends. They're now the evil, faction out there. You've now created a new evil duo in the Bella Twins.
True.
When there's already, Fatal Influence and the Judgment Day and Jade Cargill's group of evil heel women and Nia and Lash as a group of evil heel women. So now you're like, well, Paige is going to need somebody to team up with her. You know who's going to probably get saddled with that role? Sol Ruca.
I don't mind that. I really don't mind that, to be honest, Robert.
I part of the myth here is that the Bellas are talented in the ring. They're really not great at wrestling. And Cammy Star points out that Brie getting hurt may give us a Nikki Solo run. That is a fear. And again, I look back to, it's like, well, you willfully released a woman like Nikki Cross, who was really, really good. Zoe Stark was starting to put it together. Shayna Baszler was really, it's just, you can't help but compare, and that's unfair, but that's the nature of the business.
Absolutely. The nature of the business, I think CM Punk and Cody Rhodes had some organic nature in the ring here with their match. It went over 30 minutes, and CM Punk retains after Randy Orton, which you predicted, makes the return and sets something up between him and Cody, it looks like. Robert, what did you think of this match?
Narratively checked off the boxes. They went long, and in WWE world, long equals good. Mm-hmm. I don't know that it was necessarily a great match. There were definitely some moments that were a little rough. I think Punk is modifying his style into this Terry Funk-esque wild man. Everything's not going to look pretty, but the problem with that is Cody likes everything to look CGI pretty, and those two styles together can be a little jarring. So when they eventually get back to a rematch, we'll see. This was a solid match. You knew you weren't getting a clean win, especially when it wasn't main eventing the show. I was hoping it was going to be Randy Orton. I had said either Randy Orton or Kevin Owens. So I was glad it was Randy here. Randy and Cody will be able to tell their story at Sunday night's main event in Atlanta. And then Punk wins the title through a little bit of chicanery in the blindsiding Sami Zayn, not knowing who his challenger was going to be, and then retains because of outside interference. And then on the post show being like, I'll fight anybody. It's unearned confidence Punk, which is super fun.
Yeah. And it added to the fun later on the next night. We'll talk about that in a second. But SummerSlam Night 1 closed off with Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar in about an 11-minute match. That went over 11 minutes. And Obafemi, as we expected, defeated Brock Lesnar. Did you expect, though, Brock Lesnar to put Obafemi over after the match? And what did you think overall of the fight?
Look, in watching it, you really go, boy, they really nailed it at WrestleMania. They told the story perfectly. It was a physical match. You saw a bunch of kick-ups at a F5s and power bombs and all that. And afterwards, Oba looked dominant and Brock rode off into the sunset. And then we got two more matches that was the exact same thing. And then this time they just said the quiet part loud, which was Brock just literally saying, like, please stop bringing me back. I'm the past. Oba's the future. He's your guy. I'm going home. Rena, hide in the closet.
Yeah. Still, do you think it reaffirmed that Oba is the next guy in
It
like in
watered him
the
down. I
lightweight?
think it exposed a little bit of it, made it feel so much more one note than it needed to, because it was the
Mhm.
same match 3 times.
Right. I
And
do
there's a lot
think
of guys who've had that with Brock, where they've kind of had the same match multiple times with him.
Yeah, yeah. I will say just the subtlety kind of facials that Oba does and everything like that. It does show a lot of very, very high ceiling for him. And I think he can weather any kind of storm like this as long as they don't keep pushing the belt off and away from him. But we'll see. We'll see. Night 2, Robert, let's hammer through this. We mentioned that we alliterated to this earlier. Kevin Owens makes his surprise return.
We alliterated, not alluded to.
Oh, thank you.
That's fine. That's what I'm
Finn
here for.
Balor.
Me and Strunk White. Yeah, big surprise. Aldis bringing out Gunther, then bringing out Kevin Owens. It was a short match. It went less than 10 minutes. Kevin Owens was totally about, let me take bumps on my neck and show y'all I'm still alive. Him and Sammy hugging was a nice feel-good beat. Him winning, it sucks for Finn. I feel terrible for Finn.
Yeah,
Sammy, it furthers his story quite a bit, which is delightful. And the idea that Kevin Owens and CM Punk, obviously we're not getting a series out of this. It's going to be kind of a one-off little thing, but it's a good distraction. Yes, I think it's a good distraction match. I think that Punk's got more things to pivot to. We're going to definitely get a Punk Gunther match. We're definitely going to get Punk Cody again. We're probably going to get Punk and Randy. So this is Kevin Owens versus CM Punk. Maybe we get Sami Zayn interference. We get another Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn feud or story. I don't see them putting the title on Kevin Owens right now. I don't think it makes a ton of sense at the moment. I think this is just these guys are going to deliver some fun promos while we tell the Cody story as the A story of SmackDown.
And shout out to Kevin Owens, too, for shouting out Rebel. I thought that was really heartwarming and nice. And
that was beautiful. His hug to Big E was like, I mean, damn, that was emotional. Post-show press conferences giving you what you really want to talk about.
How about that, huh? All right.
No.
Let me put my tinfoil hat on with this, Robert, real quick. Baron Corbin wins simply because the WWE radio deal, and he's part of Sirius XM, Busted Open, all that stuff. Is that why they put the title on Baron Corbin?
So the next match was a look. The reason why I hate this as much as I do is Trick Williams is someone who has demonstrated the kind of charisma that, if not The Rock, is at least Booker T. They've been making a lot of comparisons to Trick Williams and Booker T, having him do the bookend. You got a lot of that flashiness. Even if you have the possibility of Trick Williams becoming a big-time star, he needs to be in there with the kind of talent that are going to make him look really great in the ring. That's why, since he's been on the main roster, you're going to work with Ilya Dragunov. You're going to work with Nakamura. You're going to work with Sami Zayn. You're going to work with Carmelo Hayes. You're going to work with guys, Tama Tonga, who are going to make you look good in the ring. Baron Corbin did not make him look good in the ring. That was a clumsy, boring match between a guy who has always been dull and a guy who really isn't at that main event level yet. So Trick needs reps with guys who know how to get the best out of him. That is never going to be Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin was one of the low points of the last decade of wrestling we got to sit through this match. I would have rather seen Sheamus in this spot. It's unfortunate that no one from the Vision is on this show whatsoever. There was no Damian Priest and R-Truth on this show. No Viking Raiders, who obviously deliver beautifully. The list of people go on that were just completely left off this show. Not only is Corbin on there, they have Corbin win, and they put him over in a way of, this is a brand new and improved Baron Corbin. When Drew McIntyre left, and it was the 3MB stuff, and he went and reinvented himself, he came back and was one of the all-time greats. I'm fully happy with saying, like, that dude he turns it around fully. I know that Baron Corbin was working in an organization we will never, ever, ever identify on this show. I thought maybe, hey, he learned a new hold. Maybe he got better. I have not seen it, and I definitely did not see it there. And I think it exposed Trick in a way that was unfortunate. Baron Corbin is now the U.S. champion. The only hope is that, like, Carmelo beats him quickly for this. and they get it on him, or they give it to Solo. Like, I don't know. This was I get we want to make sure that Trick loses and then beats someone who you all hate and want to boo. That was the JBL world title philosophy, and JBL's world champion stunk. This stinks. Let's move on.
All right. Hey, Chelsea Green's moving on because she is the interim WWE Women's Champion right now. She defeated Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill, Lash Legend, and Tiffany Stratton in a 13-minute match. Ladder match, nonetheless. Robert, you happy with this move?
Didn't understand why Julia wasn't in this match.
Mm-hmm.
I get that you needed Lash in there as a base. I would have loved to have seen Julia. It was sloppy at points. That was pretty unforgivable, especially when they invoked your cat's name and they brought up the Razor Ramon Shawn Michaels ladder match. That's not going to do anybody any favors to compare those two. Right. Chelsea winning was a nice feel-good moment. She's never been world champion. It does kind of stink that it was the interim world champion, but the fact that the internet took to make Michael Hayes trending to be like, see, Hayes, you were wrong. Chelsea's she's great. She's a star. She's absolutely fantastic. Yes, it's interim. We'll see where this goes from there.
Can you add that as an accolade? Like, she's the women's champion. Well, is that like against the rules?
I'm not the official record keeper of the WWE, unfortunately.
All right. Well, we had Danhausen. He won the human monies on a pool match against Dominic Mysterio in a nearly 7-minute match. What do you think, Robert?
This was somehow worse than I thought it was going to be, in that it was just inoffensive and boring. The use of the mini-housens, we've seen this hundreds of times at this point. It wasn't new or inventive. JD McDonough beating him up was like, all right, I'm glad he got to chokeslam one of them, but we literally saw this in Saturday night's main event. What I don't understand, in the interest of time, just very quickly, is you spent all this time building up the Kit Wilson stuff, the Miz stuff, the mystery box, and then the payoff was none of them being involved, and this is all that we got. It was like we've seen this plenty of times. Not a great use of Dom. Dom seemed kind of disinterested in all this. To me, that this was a huge miss.
Yeah, I kind of agree. From what little I saw of it, there was like the sparks on the pole and all that. It's like paint by numbers. You already did this kind of thing. Chad Gable, he is your new Intercontinental Champion after an over 11-minute match. Defeats Penta by submission, nonetheless. Feel good moment for Chad Gable. Does it make sense moving forward?
So one thing I do want to clarify, just on the Danhausen thing, I completely agree with the booking. I completely agree with, hey, this has it was the execution of this could have been significantly better. Kind of like how I feel about the Penta Gable match. Okay. I'm thrilled Gable won. Love Gable. Chad and I go quite a ways back. I know how much this meant to him. This was really wonderful. They did not give them a lot of time. This was only like 11 minutes. I feel like these guys could have told a bigger story. And my fear was babyface, that it was going to feel lesser than Gable overcoming somebody truly heel. Match was very good. It wasn't bad. I wish it would have been longer. It was nice to see Gable celebrate after. But then the mug root beer mascot coming out there, I thought for sure this was going to be Ludwig Kaiser attacking him. And instead, it was worse. It was just a sponsorship.
Brutal.
For this, just like most of the show, I feel like night one or night two. Night one, I felt, was a success only because at the beginning of night two, the 90-second recap in night one made it look like a far better show than it actually was. With the 1 minute we have left, the main event, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, go way in depth on this in the Patreon. It's worth checking it out. But real quick, it was a 33-minute match that was a very good 15-minute match. You could have whittled away a lot of this to get to a good match, a lot of stalling, a lot of walking around, a ref bump where I thought that referee was dead because he wasn't moving for 10 minutes and nobody else seemed to notice. A little too heavy on the Shield beats that I feel like we've seen this exact story told before in the I'm giving you my back, hit me, you're not going to hit me. And when it all was said and done, Roman felt like a babyface.
Yeah. Yes.
Punk is a babyface. Who the hell is Obafemi chasing?
It's a great point.
We'll find out probably starting tonight with Monday Night Raw, and we'll be back tomorrow, as we are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Podcast Heat and Studio One Sports. If you want to hear the in-depth show, you can check out the Working Stiff Patreon, which is available now. And Dom is our intrepid producer on that, so you know it's going to be a banger. So on behalf of the man who chose to wear a boxing shirt for a wrestling show, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Yes. See you guys tonight. Linda Cohen, 6 p.m. Linda Cohen Sports.